Some ideas, they shake you out of your sleep like when a toddler creeps. Totality of the deep, the mere thought of an unconscious manifestation carried out with the beat. Positive charged protons creating neural explosions. Time hiccups when fingers and pads touch. Dead air smiles because it knows what's coming. The counting is of the clock claps hands. The choreography of the knot slaps jams. And you be like, who made this? Vertebrae responding to the call so bad to make a B-Girl curve the wall.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another B-Boy lesson for the day for any intermediate level. We're going to change it up a bit. We were going over some basic ground power the previous class. This time, we're going to kind of go back and focus on footwork again. So, leave my glasses. So, we're going to work on symmetry for footwork today. So, and then we'll kind of go over some of the ground power move form and fundamentals again. But before we do, we're going to do some footwork again. So we're just going to basically focus on making sure everything that you do in footwork to the best of your ability is going to be symmetrical and even on both sides. Okay, so as per usual, we're going to start off with a stretch. So we're going to go straight into splits first. Okay. Same old. Just try to keep your knees straight, toes up, legs straight. As far as your body will allow it to go, stretch. So we're going to stay in this for a few minutes and then do all of our regular round of stretching. We're going to do butterfly stretch, stretch out our hips, straight legs, back, lower back, same old routine. So a little bit longer here. All right. Always remember, in the beginning, we can always keep it a lighter stretch. You don't have to go too hardcore into it. Warm your body up first anyways. So from here, left hand to your right toe. All right. Right hand to your left toe. All right. Feet together, and we're going to do some butterfly stretches. Always try to keep your back straight for this. I know I've said that a million times, but yeah, back straight. All right. So from here, we're going to do semi-split, semi-straight. We're just going to make a good solid V shape and reach for your toes, keeping your back straight. Okay. And then from here, we're going to do right leg over left. And then, so right leg over left, body twist to your right side. Now left leg over your right. Body twist to your left side. All right. Ooh. All right. From here, we're going to do back and forth, back and forth split stretches. So my left leg is back, right leg is forward. All right. And try to be as upright as possible. Mainly stretch this thigh out. All right, try to reach for your toe if you can. All right, so from here, switch sides, right leg back, left leg straight. Same thing. Okay. Reach for that toe as well if you can. All right. Straight legs real quick. This will be the last stretch. And then we'll get into some footwork patterns for symmetry. So we're gonna start off in a squat like this, and basically we're just gonna go over some basic drills, kind of as usual to clean up your footwork, but also to help you get used to doing things on both sides. So from here, we're gonna just go over some basic leg sweeps, shuffles, kick out, CCs, and maybe some like basic like threads as well. Okay, so we're gonna just be doing it left side, right side, and just I'll be facing the camera and try to do it as evenly as possible on each side. So however high you kick or how low, whatever it may be, try to, be aware of your body and control it so that you're doing it evenly on both sides, whichever way you decide to do some of these moves. Okay, so from here, we're just going to start off balancing in squat. Okay, and from here, we're just going to do a basic coffee grinder to a hook. Okay, and then we're just going to reset back to a squat like this, and then we're going to coffee grinder the other way as well. Okay, so from here, if you want, you can give like a little hop before you get into the leg sweep to kind of set you off and give you some momentum. Okay, so from here, all right, my right leg is going to leg sweep. Okay, so like that. Okay, so one more time. So from here, it's just going to go a quick hop to set you up, and then you're just gonna do a coffee grinder to a hook. All right, and then from there, a hook. We're just gonna come back down to a squat. Oh my God, it's demo. Good Lord. Headspin tips. We'll go over some headspin tips later. So from here, you're just gonna hop leg sweep. All right. Come back to a squat. Leg sweep on the other side. Okay. And then basically just practicing doing this back and forth from one side to the other. It should help you get more comfortable doing leg sweeps in whichever direction, whichever side, okay? You could do the same thing going in reverse as well as a drill. This pretty much ties in with the 8-ball sweep that we went over early on in our session. So from here, one more time. Squat. Squat. Like that. So that's always a good drill to work on. You want to make sure you're keeping your legs clean. You can record yourself doing it too. And just, try to make sure it's looking relatively clean on both sides and similar looking. No one's going to be perfect in terms of doing it symmetrically, but your goal should always be to make it look as similar to one another, whether you're on the left side or the right side. So real quick as a drill, we're going to do it about, we'll do it like 4 times each side. Just back to back, we're just going to bang it out real quick. Okay, so from here, all right, so from here, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Super easy. Just a little drill to literally keep you on your toes. And basically, that'll, doing a leg sweep seems very minor, but it's pretty crucial to developing your skill set and style as you keep dancing throughout the years. So very good drill to work on. We're also going to do some basic cross shuffles. So we're just going to start from the front, hit leg shuffle on the side. But instead of doing continuous shuffles, we're just going to do a quick crisscross, come back to the front, and then jump to the other side. So again, from a squat like this, what you want to do is basically start off with your right leg. I don't want you to look at my ugly bottom of my shoes, but so we'll start from squat here. And what you're going to do is start off with a leg sweep or a coffee grinder, shuffle, and then go immediately back. So from here, step to the side, come back, switch, sweep, cross, come back. And when you hit these shuffles on the side, you want to basically imagine doing it like you're doing a freeze. So you should hit it real hard, clean, and you should almost like snap into it. Try not to, you shouldn't be tripping over your other foot. You know what I'm saying? Like your feet shouldn't be hitting the ground across as you go, like skipping across the ground. It should just be clean shuffles from one side to the other, okay? So we're gonna do it with both hands, but eventually you wanna be comfortable with it enough to kind of, hit some freezes and poses with your other arm as you're doing it. So for example, from here, just put your hand on your hips or your head, chest, wherever you want to, whatever you feel like doing it. So from here, shuffle, back, like that. So, and then if you wanted to take it to another level, you can always actually add in multiple shuffles on each side instead of just doing a quick crisscross. So, and then if you want to add even more levels to it, you know, instead of just doing leg shuffles, put together a specific pattern or shape as you do the leg shuffles. So if you wanted to, you could do the shuffles where it leads to like a figure 4 on each side. So if you wanted to, for example, from here, shuffle, cross, right? Come back, shuffle, cross, come back. Like that. So, and this is what I mean by figure 4. Like, makes a number 4 with the shape of your legs. Real quick, so you can mix this in with your leg sweeps. So if you wanted to, you can combine all these drills all together. Oh God, Kurt. Good old Kurt. All right. So, Jesus. All right. Well, I'm gonna take a little quick water break. So you can combine the leg sweeps with the shuffles, or do it in a different order if you want. You could do the shuffles into the leg sweep. Really, there's no right or wrong way to connect some of these moves. There are certain ways that obviously makes it look better, but there's technically no there's no wrong really. It's just figuring out what works best for you and your body type, and how to connect these moves in a way that's comfortable and makes sense for you. So play around with it. So for example, if you wanted to, you could do the leg sweeps. You know what I'm saying? So leg sweep, shuffle, and then from here you could actually do a reverse one. Okay, switch, shuffle, and reverse, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there's always different ways you can cut up the moves and make a little mishmash of footwork patterns, and that's where the real fun comes in, is just developing your own combinations, and from that, you'll start to develop your own little flow. Like, everyone's mind thinks differently, so whatever your foundation is or your core fundamental moves are early on, how you connect those moves will ultimately define it'll define the majority of your style and technique. So do keep that in mind as well. Just the more things you learn early on, and the wider your vocabulary is early on, in my opinion, the better well-roundedness and overall style you'll achieve as you progress in your breaking career. So another quick one is a really basic one. It's just CCs, but learning to control the range in your CCs. So, you know, you can just do like very light ones in place where you switch from one side to the other using your hands, all the way to like swinging and just kind of using one arm on each side to like pull your body up in the air as you do a CC in the air. So for a quick example, you can do quick, small jabs of CCs. Okay, so there's a long version where your legs are extended all the way and you do really big, noticeable switches in your changes. So those are going to look more like this. So from here, like that. So it's almost like a 1, 2, 3 motion. So from here, it's just boom, 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 boom. Like that. Okay. But CCs, as you know, there's a lot of different styles. Back in the day, you know, depending on which borough you're from, your style of kickouts and CCs, you know, were very different from everybody else's. So there's those, and then there's the very light, I don't know how to describe it. It's the real jittery kind. Well, there's an actual term for this, so it's, I shouldn't joke like that, but this is like also a very like old style of doing CCs from New York, and it's just quickly going from one side to the other. You're not really extending your legs at all. You're just going to go from one side and just kind of mostly use your hips to switch. So from here, it's just, you know, almost like from just a squat, just. Okay. So there's that kind of doing CCs. All right. And then there's basically that, but if you really, really swing for it, you're basically going to be basically just moving your whole body almost like a flare from one side all the way to the other. So this really requires you to be comfortable adding a lot of whip to your footwork. And similar to doing power moves, it really requires you to understand shifting the weight of your body to your arms at the right moment. So very simple, but not everyone does CCs like these. But yeah, it's just requires a lot of whip. So essentially the same thing as this one. Okay. But what you're going to do is incorporate a full leg sweep until your body essentially just goes all the way up to the side and you're going to hit a CC. Having the strength to hold your body up is going to be crucial, like being used to leaning on, putting all your weight on your arms. And also, if you notice me doing the CCs, I'm constantly swinging my arm in front of me or like above my head. That counters the shift in weight so that you don't lose balance as you're doing this. So if you do CCs with your hands just like off to the side, you would ultimately lose your balance. So keep that in mind as well. Make sure you're swinging your arms in sync and in rhythm with what you're doing with your legs. Okay, so basically, we're gonna start with a right leg sweep. So from here, okay, we're gonna start off on our left hand, right leg swings, and you really need to roll and put all your weight into your right arm. You don't want to slam it down necessarily, but just from the initial swing, you roll over to your other arm and you should be ready to put all your weight into this arm. So from here, it's going to continue legs sweeping until you jump off your left leg into a CC. Okay, all the way up. So from here, you're going to sweep and go all the way up like that. Okay, so your body again is going to go from facing forward to, well, your chest will be facing forward, but your body jumps off, darts off to the side. You know what I mean? So, as opposed to your leg would be pointing forward like this, and you do a CC. This one, you're going to swing it all the way to the side until you hit a CC over to your left. So, again, just one smooth motion. This one in particular, this method of doing CCs, you're not going to really have a choppy transition. Everything's just one smooth motion. You're whipping your body, using that momentum to get over to the other side, and then you're just going to come to a hard stop. Okay, so your other arm waving in front of your body or in front of over your head is going to be crucial to helping you stop that momentum, because it's going to counter all that force. Okay, so from here, again, starting off on your left arm, you're going to roll to your right, and you're going to swing into a CC. So from here, all right, and then from here, what you're going to do is jump off your right foot and land back on your left, so that you're now facing back forward. All right, so same thing again, just it's going to be a really big whip, and then you use your, basically the weight of your legs and gravity to kind of just pull you back down to the center of where you started. So from here, and then all you're going to do is switch, and as you switch, same thing again. Sweep with your left leg, roll to your right, your left arm, and you're going to CC on this side. Okay? So it won't be as, it's not going to have the same look where it's like very sharp, choppy motions. This one's going to definitely be like swing, pop into a CC, swing, pop into a CC. Okay? And the transition in between, as you come back, it should be relatively quick. Like you almost want it to be seamless. You want it to, as it comes down, you get your foot and you immediately swing over so that there's no pause really. So you just go from one side to the other, and your body's just swinging violently from left to right. Okay, so from here, again, swing, CC, swing, CC. So, okay, so those are like the really, really stretched out variation of a CC. What you can do is use the same technique to essentially skip doing a CC and actually use that as like the basis of a power move. And so, for example, with enough whip, you can, and you know, with enough whip, and granted you jump off your foot high enough, you could probably use this to go from footwork to a swipe, a 90, windmill, anything. It basically sets you up to, you know, sets you up to go straight into power because you generate so much momentum just from this one move. You can essentially use it to cut straight into a power move and essentially have a smooth transition so that you're not just getting up, top rocking, and then going into a Cali that just kind of breaks apart all the flow. If you do some cool footwork move and you want to just jump straight into a power combo without having to reset yourself completely, this is like one of the most common transitions that B-boys and B-girls use to skip resetting. So one more time, and then I'll show you what I mean by going straight into power. So I'll do the CC back and forth a few times, and then I'm going to use it to go straight into, I don't know, I'll do a backspin or a windmill. Okay, so essentially, as you're doing footwork, boom, you're doing whatever, and then you go. You see what I'm saying? So it's very basic. If you're not comfortable or used to this one, definitely practice it. It can be super helpful for connecting moves, and again, just overall, the more comfortable you get with this, the further you can develop your style, and come up with even more obscure combinations. Okay, so went over that. Oh, we'll go over CCs or kickouts. So again, starting off in a squat, some basic kickouts you can do. We'll just do the one that everyone's most familiar with, and it's just the straight-legged kickouts. Okay. In a certain sense, the CC we just did can be considered a kind of a kick out. I mean, you're essentially just shooting your legs out and coming right back in, which is not too far different. So from here, one of the most important things for kickouts is, I mean, again, there's no wrong way to do it, but keep your legs as straight as possible and keep them together. And yeah, just the main thing is like extending as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think having the ability to extend your legs all the way out, especially in just very like basic rudimentary kickouts, makes a big difference. It kind of shows a little bit more finesse and understanding of your form. And it just, in general, it just looks a lot cleaner if you keep your legs together and extend it all the way out. So instead of just doing it, for example, I'm gonna go off to the side, instead of just doing it like, like that, you wanna, same exact principle, but you just gotta tell yourself to extend your legs all the way. So from here, we're gonna go on our right arm, all the way out. Come back in. And again, your free arm is going to be what's going to help you counter the weight and keep you from losing your balance. Okay, so from here, just kick out, come back in, switch, kick out, come back in. All right, and that's literally it. Just practice going from one side to the other, but also making sure the angles are the same. Make sure if you're kicking out at about, from looking forward, if you're kicking out at like a 45-degree angle on your left side, make sure it's about the same on your right side as well. Okay, you want to try your best to keep it symmetrical, and it just cleans up your form altogether. So whenever you do a pattern on one side and you want to be able to flip it over to the other side, especially when you're like just freestyling footwork, working on symmetry will definitely help you improve on that. So we're just going to do we'll just do like 5 on each side. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just go at your own pace. But basically, as you're doing this drill, make sure your legs are straight, and just make sure you have a good rhythm going as well. Don't force yourself to go faster and then slow down and then fast again. Just steady rhythm is what's most important, so that you're not killing yourself essentially. So from here we go 1, 2. Okay. This also is going to be very different depending on the type of shoes you're wearing. You know, the bulkier your shoes with a bigger heel support, it's gonna feel different, but also who knows if it's gonna grip and make your shoes come off your feet. So just be careful with that as well. So what we're gonna do is, for the kick out, we're gonna actually kind of start to add patterns to it. These are all gonna be very basic ones, but always good to go over the basics. And again, just because you can necessarily do them might not mean you're doing them well. So definitely try this pattern with me. And if you're having trouble with it, just all the more reason to go over these footwork fundamentals. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a kick out, but we're going to do a split first. So we're just basically, I'll just show you sitting down. So basically from here, we're just going to do a split, close our legs, and then come right back in. Okay, so it's just going to be a kick out with your legs split. And then from here, try to jump off your heels and use your hips to kind of relieve some weight off of them as you smack them together into a straight leg kick out. So from here, just kick, put them together, in. Same thing for the other side. So you're just gonna go from split, close, and bring it in. Like that. And then basically, once you're pretty comfortable with that pattern, you can start, as always, just start adding things to it or taking things away from it and kind of see what kind of ideas you can come up with from that. So small example can be from here. All right, so we can go split. All right, and then from here together. All right, and then from here maybe we can go to a chair. All right, and then kick out again to a figure 4. All right, so from here we can go boom, 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 boom. All right, and then from here go reverse, boom, right, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Whenever you're having some fun ideas going in one direction, just see if you can do it in the exact reverse. It's just a really fun way to play with your flow and ideas. It may ultimately lead to a new idea as well. So other side real quick. So from here, split, together, chair, figure 4, back, boom, up. Okay. Good mental exercise too. So one more time, we're just going to do the basic one where we split and close our legs. I'm going to do it about 5 times on each side. All right, cool. So from here, boom, boom. All right. Very, very easy. These are like really good basic drills to use as a warm-up. So you can always go to practice, or if you're just at home, you can start off with a stretch, go over these really basic drills. Some of the other ones that we went over early on in the session, like 8-ball sweeps, pretzel sweeps, threads, basic leg shuffles. These are all really good things to bang out in the at the beginning of your practice as a warm up. You know, you're not gonna hurt yourself too much warming up, and it kind of helps you break a sweat early on, and then you can stretch one more time after that, and then go into the really, really heavy stuff, whatever it is that you want to work on. So, real quick. That being said, we're just gonna do a quick stretch again one more time. Actually, what time is it? Oh, good lord. There's only 20 minutes left. All right, so a real quick stretch one more time. All right, and Demo, are you still watching? Give me a heads up if you are. If you are, we'll do a head spin tutorial. Otherwise, we're gonna do something else. All right, so well, actually, we could do a head spin, I guess. I was gonna do something very similar to it. So we're gonna do some basic back stretches for back spins and windmills real quick. Always a good stretch for practicing power moves. And then we're gonna get into the concept of keeping your head on the ground throughout your power and staying on your upper back. We already went over that a few times, or a little bit. We went over it a little bit, going over back spins and shoulder spins, but you'll see how this comes into play for practicing windmills. And then for those of you who have windmills, but you bang your head on the ground, hopefully this will help you correct your form and just help you develop your mills a lot better. So from here, we're just gonna do upper back stretch. So from here, legs over your head. All right. Try to keep your legs straight. And arms over your head like a Y shape. And you're just gonna stay here for a little bit. Okay, and then if you can, once you're comfortable enough, bend your legs so that they're pointing straight up. Okay? And you can always play around with the shape of your legs to, play around with different backspin variations, shoulder spin variations. Also just to figure out where your center of balance is when you're on your back or, upside down, just spinning in general. Try shifting your weight onto different parts of your body, like your shoulders, or like lower on your back, and see how that affects your balance and the positioning of your legs and arms. All right, so from here, keep your legs in a split now, and basically to simulate the form of a windmill. Okay. All right. So from here, come back down. Before we get into it, I'm going to just drink some more water. So the basis for windmills is it's absolutely crucial and essential to keep your head on the ground for windmills. And especially when you're trying to learn certain variations like double mills or do transitions like windmill 90 or windmill headspin, if your head is already touching the ground, you're already like halfway there. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, not super necessary, so to speak. I mean, there's plenty of people I know that can do really good mills and other ground power without using their head on the ground. However, those who I think do it exceptionally well and or are considered like, you know, masters of power moves, they all typically have their head on the ground. And so their combos and transitions are just that much easier, that much faster. The transitions are much swifter. It's just, it makes a big difference. Got a scam likely call. All right, so what we're gonna do first is go into a headstand, and it's absolutely crucial that you're comfortable being on your head as well in general. So if your arms are shaking or have trouble breathing, like it's just like very difficult for you to hold yourself up, just simply practice headspins. And so we'll go over that. I mean, not headspins, headstands. Good Lord, headstands. So you basically want to think of it as a tripod. So your head will be one leg, and then you want your other hands to not be perfectly side by side with your head. You want your hands to be in front of your head. So like a tripod, they're going to form, you know, if they were dots, they form a triangle. Okay. And it's also crucial that you keep your hands with your fingers pointing to the side, not upwards or like underhand. Your hands should be pointing directly to the side as you're doing these headstands. Okay. And so we're going to start off just doing really basic ones where we rest our knees on our elbows, and then we're going to do split ones. And then ultimately from split, we're going to try to bring our feet together and do a whole straight-legged, straight-bodied headstand. Or for breakers, we call it a pencil. So from here, what you're going to do is, let me tuck my shirt in. All right. Buckle up. All right, so basically you can practice just getting on top of your head with your feet on the ground, hands in front of your head, and then what you can do is jump off or slowly lift up and place your knees on your elbow. Okay? So this is the most basic form of a headstand you can do. From there, once you're comfortable enough, you can lift your legs up into a split, okay? And you can bring them lower or higher, it's up to you. You basically just want to have your legs up without the assistance of your elbows or your arms, or too much. I mean, you're going to be using your arms either way. And then eventually, get comfortable enough to get your legs all the way up, and, you know, just try not to have too much of your weight on your arms. You want most of it to be on top of your head, okay? So that's the very first thing. First and foremost, you need to be comfortable on your head. If you're struggling to do just what I even did right now, you know, don't worry about what's going to follow from here. You just need to really focus on the basics and get your balance and strength up to par to then eventually be able to do windmills and other power moves and stuff. If you're not strong enough to get to stay on your head comfortably, and you try to do some of these other things, you may potentially hurt yourself just because your body's not used to it. and it has, if you're not aware of what you're doing to your own body, then that's how it can lead to injury. So make sure you're at the very least getting your headstands together. And again, not just standing on your head, but play around with different shapes with your leg. Shift your weight from one side to the other, like lean on different parts of your head, like really get a good understanding of headstands. All right. Just like for handstands, just because you can stay up for a few seconds doesn't mean that you have handstands. Like you should get to the point where you're comfortable enough to walk around, rotate, turn around, and things like that. That's how you know you have really good handstands, is when you actually develop control for it. So same thing with headstands. You should be able to move your legs around whichever direction comfortably without losing balance or your arms shaking or getting tired out. Okay. So, oh boy, 7:51. So real quick, I'm just going to show you what one of the best ways to learn windmills or to help correct and fix your windmills is starting off in a headstand. And you need to make sure you're not going to roll off to the side. You actually want to use your arms and twist your head like you're, like twisting a screw into a hole. Like twist onto your arms and shoulder. And then eventually that should lead to ultimately a backspin. Okay. We actually went over this earlier in the session, like a couple weeks ago. So, example from here. All right. What you want to do is from here, not just move to the side and roll. You actually want to twist your hands and get to your upper back. All right. Sorry, my necklace is getting in my mouth. So if you, the other thing is you should practice winding your legs as well. So we'll do that real quick as well. But you should wind up, swing your legs, and then twist your arms. And you should be comfortable enough with this to the point where you can do really good backspins. Okay, that's how you should be practicing it, is to go into really clean backspins. All right, so from here, all right. So from here, another thing to practice on your head is keeping your body straight, but twisting your waist so that you wind your legs. All right. That's one of the most important things to practice for anything where you swing with your legs in power, which is almost everything. Windmills, backspins, and of course, especially so, headspins. Okay? So that's another good drill to work on if you're not already comfortable with it. And similar to footwork, your swing, your wind-ups while you're in a headstand, your wind-ups should be the same. When you wind up onto one side, you should be able to comfortably wind up all the way, twisting your hips all the way to the other side, and it should look relatively the same. Okay, I would say practice it to the point where your legs, if you saw me doing it, my legs didn't necessarily swing down and up. Everything just stood up in the air, and my legs were just swinging and winding from one side to the other. You should try to avoid your legs dipping down towards the ground. That's going to be one of the worst things you can do if you're trying to learn headspins. Okay, but anyways, back to a windmill fundamental. So from there, I go clockwise in my power moves. So for me, I'm going to wind up my legs so that I ultimately end up with my right leg swinging downwards as I twist my arms and go onto my shoulders. Okay, so from here, my left leg swings across so that my right leg is behind, So that way my right leg can swing as hard as I can, all right? So from here, all right, that's gonna be what you want to work on as you develop backspins and windmills. And then basically, my head came off there because I was doing it slowly, but you'll notice I'm gonna do it once from that backspin position. You're gonna let your legs pike, or in terms of pike, what piking means is let your legs drop down as close to your face as possible, or towards your face, and use that to help you spring, kicking your legs up in the air and spring back up to the top of your head. Okay? So you really need to use that momentum, that bounce, to help you thrust your hips, and you're going to essentially go right back up like no problem. Almost just like a roller coaster. You use all that force going down, and then that same force is what's going to help you get right back up to the top of your head. Okay, so from here, all right. So from here, you're going to go here, back to the top of your head like that. Okay, wasn't sure if I was going to kick my own laptop. So one more time. All right. Ooh. Just gonna tuck my shirt in so you guys can see my face clearly. All right, so. All right, so from here, you're gonna wind up, twist, and then spring your legs from your upper back, and just essentially think of doing a roll back to headstand, just a straight back roll up. And you should just go straight back onto your head. It's something to get used to, and as long as you follow this form, it should be easy. Oh boy. Okay, so there really shouldn't be a pause in between. Like I said, when do you ever see a roller coaster pause in the middle and then it just goes right back up magically? Like, that'll never happen. So keep that in mind. The moment you start, there should be no hesitance and no pause or sudden choppy transitions. Everything should just be a quick swing, drop down to your back, and then your legs and hips spring upwards again, and you'll just immediately come back up. And again, it's something to get used to, but once you pop back up to your head, the whole process starts over again. So as soon as you pop up, you continue that momentum, swing your legs, and you just keep going up, down, and your head should stay on the ground the whole time. And then ultimately, when you're comfortable enough, you don't have to pop up as high onto your head. You can do just enough to help you skip over and drop back onto your shoulder. And that's how you develop barrel mills, windmills without hands. Okay, so you start learning to control the height of it. And then again, same thing for double mills. You're essentially just doing a windmill head spin back down the windmill, but you're almost intentionally doing it lopsided so that you go up just enough to do like two rotations of a head spin, and you just go immediately back down to your back. You're not actually trying to stay all the way upright onto your head. You're actually gonna go up just enough to do a head spin or two, and then go right back into windmill. And those are double mills. The more rotations you can add, the crazier it will be. Like those will be like triple mills or quadruple mills, which have been done before. You just have to have really, really, really good control of your bounces, like how high you go up and how you whip your legs. Okay, So again, super crucial to keep your head on the ground, especially if you want to develop these more difficult technical variations. Okay, so I'll do it a couple more times and then that'll be the end of the session real quick. So from here, hopefully I don't run into my laptop. So from here, okay. So same principle, like if you want to do windmill head spin or windmill 90, you can use this as a stepping stone, windmill headstand, and then from headstand you just connect it smoothly one after another. And then ultimately, once you get really comfortable doing that, you can actually skip your head altogether, use the same bounce, but then you just immediately roll to your hands, push straight up, and then you'll have windmill 90s. So yeah, one last time, and then that's it, guys. All right, peace.